Hi, and welcome to This Week in Santa Clarita Real Estate. Chris, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. Welcome back. I can't believe it's been like 9 months.
Feels like yesterday, but in the same time, there's so much going on. I mean, school's back in session,
Yep.
so lots of time spent in lines again. But you know, it's with kids. We love our kids, and we have the best schools out here.
Yeah.
So you know, it's.
But they are still long lines.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Pick up, drop off.
Well, and then when you're leaving, as soon as you leave your house, you're like, oh, school traffic. Haven't felt that for a couple months.
Yeah, you're like, oh, school's back in session. Yep. All right. I better budget another 20 minutes. No problem. But yeah, so much stuff going on. I mean, school's back in session. You know, we're going towards the fall. I was recently at a meeting to learn about what's going on at the mall.
Yeah. I think we talked about this 9 months ago.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of excitement, a lot of optimism. What do you think's actually going on over there?
So,
you just went to a meeting.
Yeah, I just came back from the Valley Industry Alliance, I think VIA, meeting where they had a Centennial rep out to talk about what they plan on doing it. They've only owned it since
Centennial's the company that
bought the mall from Westfield.
Okay.
And they've only owned it since around September of last year.
Okay.
So I know our expectations are that we want a new mall like that. That's not how things roll. And they've been slowly getting all the permits and everything approved from the city. They've got their specific plan in place now, and now it's a matter of figuring out what they actually want to do with the mall.
Okay.
I
So
know
specific plan, that's like they draw up their vision for the mall, present it to the city for, you know, the very initial
yes.
approval.
Yes.
It's not like a guaranteed stamp, but it's like, yeah, let's pursue this.
Correct. So now they've got they gave us a blue sky when they first bought it. This is what they wanted to do, and that involved tearing down a large portion of the center of the mall.
I mean, that's what I've been hearing.
And putting in a road to kind of connect it through. But after visiting this meeting, I don't know if that's in the cards anymore, to be honest. What they were presenting sounds more like a modification and an updating of what currently exists, getting in new retailers, more local stuff. But the one part that has stayed the same is the residential component coming to the mall. That has not changed. That is absolutely going to happen.
And do you know, did they say anything about apartments versus condos, or where they're going to be?
So if you are familiar with the way our mall is laid out, near JCPenney's, Sears, there's a lot of parking lot there.
Yeah.
And originally in their blue sky there was going to be kind of a road going through that area, and a lot of that will be offset by building parking structures and then wrapping those structures with apartment buildings and residential.
So did they say like they would be planning on building the parking structures over off the end of the old Sears area?
So in that area, plus more towards Magic Mountain Parkway. So where Magic Mountain Parkway kind of
across from the car dealership.
Yeah, runs along that way, exactly. So that's more likely where you're going to see residential. And one of the things they want to do is they do want to beautify it. So it's when they are building this, they are looking to make sure that they include kind of a street atmosphere, plaza feel.
Now, mixed use.
Yeah. Plaza is different than a park. Plaza has activations at each corner, as they said it. So that way there's something to do that brings you into this area. So there will be green spaces added to where we just have parking lot right now. You'll see more vertical construction.
I mean, there's a lot of unused parking over in that weird back corner. And there's like that little separate parking area.
There is.
Kind of down along the Chick-fil-A area.
Yes. And part of that's actually being used right now by auto dealers just to park extra cars.
Wow.
So that is wasted for everything except for that right now.
Definitely not getting highest and best use out of that piece of land that's right in the middle of Santa Clarita.
Yeah, so that one, the residential component is coming, but as far as if you're concerned that they're going to tear down our mall,
or hopeful,
there were a lot of people concerned they're going to tear it down. I don't think it's in the cards anymore, and I'm not going to say it's budgetary, but it is definitely, they don't have anything in writing or concrete yet on what they plan, so until they do that, have no fear. It's not going away. But I do expect them to be moving on the residential
It's weird. I
side.
mean, you brought up like budgetary, and if you're trying to follow the economy at all right now,
Yeah.
it moves so fast. You go from a crazy week in the stock market, the sky is falling, we're going into a recession, to inflation's totally under control, producer prices are low, and we're definitely going to see rate drops. It's like, what?
Yeah.
How do you keep track of this in 6 days?
I mean, the Fed's basically, it's almost written in stone at this point that the Fed is going to be
They're certainly leading us to believe that, although you don't know if the great Jerome Powell is going to honor his word or not.
You don't. But I will say the prognosticators, who are much smarter and track all this than I do, have pretty much given it a 100% chance that he will drop rates. The only question is, how much?
Right.
Quarter
Quarter point,
percent, half point, how much? We don't know. But it really comes down to what the Treasury rate is for the 10-year.
Totally.
That's what mortgage rates in our industry go by.
They're tied to the bond market.
They're tied
right?
to the bond
And
market,
then-
so it doesn't
So if
matter.
they do cut rates and then it causes some kind of move in the bond market,
Yes.
That could affect rates. Now, I don't know a lot about commercial lending. Maybe we could bring someone in, or
Yeah.
maybe you do.
That would
Because
be a
that
good
might
one.
move commercial money, and then if commercial money loosens up,
That's
maybe Centennial can get a little bit more solid about what their plans are.
Yes, and our credit cards are tied to the prime rate.
If you carry a balance.
If you carry a balance.
Don't carry a balance.
Please don't carry a balance. But yeah, so if that comes down, that will be a relief to a lot of people because their monthly payments will go down a little
Sure.
bit. Well, make sure you contact your credit card immediately. But that will help free up commercial lending. I do believe that is where we're sticking. I know one of the projects that was supposed to be coming
Yeah,
to...
I want you to talk about this because this is where we got
this is a big
tightening
one.
of funds and it killed some development.
Yeah, so in Santa Clarita, we were supposed to be getting Shadowbox Studio coming into Santa Clarita right off of Railroad and 3rd Street in Newhall. And that was going to be 19 sound stages. So it was a huge studio development. Got the green light from the city. Even the people in Plaza Rita Canyon signed off, which is amazing because that's not easy.
Yeah, nobody in there wants to sign for any development in the canyon.
It's a tough one. So they got the sign off from everyone. But suddenly they are claiming that there's not enough demand to make it work. Also with credit going up, the cost of borrowing money for commercial deals is going up, and the development, since they hadn't actually spent anything on it yet.
Except they bought the land.
They bought the land and they did the development and the EIRs and stuff like that. That's all they're out right now. So there's no incentive for them right now to move the project forward. So right now it's currently in cryogenics.
So realistically, yeah, cryogenics. Realistically, we're just going to be looking at that empty plot of land for the indefinite future.
Yeah, until if mortgage rate, if the prime rate comes down, and Jerome Powell does bring those rates down, it might make it feasible for them to start construction. Hopefully.
Yeah, if that commercial lending loosens up.
And also the other thing is, production coming back to Los Angeles and coming back to LA.
Totally different conversation.
That's a different conversation.
Yes.
That's a good industry conversation. If you want that conversation, we can have that conversation. I think
let's schedule another one of these. We'll talk
That's a great
about
conversation about how the real estate market and the entertainment industry go together.
Totally.
There's a whole interesting symbiotic relationship between the two.
Yep.
And that's the other thing that has to come back to that make it, I think, worth their while.
So you have some connections in the industry where you get some good info, and you were telling me earlier, I think, and clarify this for us, but it's not fully back from those strikes.
Well, so the first strikes happened. That was SAG-AFTRA and the Writers Guild of America. Those two went on strike.
Yep.
And that stopped production. Pretty much any production that was tied to those contracts with the AMPTP.
Yeah, the only thing running was like reality TV, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, and even those people are trying to be unionized now. But after that, the studios all looked at their books and said, "Oh, we're losing our shirts on streaming services. We're creating way too much content." So they have scaled back all their productions.
Gotcha.
And they've also started moving productions to where there's more tax incentives,
Right.
or where there's more.
You have kind of
Yeah.
multiple.
It's a lot of
multiple things affecting that industry, and you're right, because we know in our industry with rentals, like that writer strike, and remember the one a long time ago? It was like 15 years ago. It
Yeah.
was really bad. That really hits people right in the checkbook, and then they can't pay their rent.
Yeah.
And some of them maybe couldn't pay their mortgage or whatever, but we are really very interwoven with the industry
Yes.
in Santa Clarita.
Santa Clarita, we're in the 30-mile zone. The TMZ, that's where it comes, by the way. You ever watch TMZ?
Interesting. Didn't know
Stands for
that.
30-mile zone. It has to do with from Los Angeles, 30 miles out from there. That's production credits. Most of the studios will cover a lot of stuff for production within 30 miles of Los Angeles, or 30 miles within from the base camp of, say, Warner Brothers Studio or Universal Studios or something like that.
So that's why we have so many studios in Santa Clarita.
Yeah, so LA North is out here. We've got that. We've got a lot of movie ranches out here, as you know.
Yep.
So that's why a lot of stuff comes and films out here, and they get those tax credits and stuff like that. So TMZ. We're in the TMZ. You don't see that in the Antelope Valley.
I did not know that. Definitely learned something new today. You know what I mean, Michael?
Not like the demilitarized zone. That's a whole different thing. That's a DMZ.
All right. Okay.
But, yeah.
Awesome. Well, Chris, thank you
definitely.
for coming. This is such interesting stuff. I know a lot of people who live here really care about these big developments and how they might affect quality of life, or bring jobs, or take away jobs, or affect average incomes, or help average incomes. Right? This is real stuff that we're dealing with that has a real impact on things like schools and parks and roads and all the things that we enjoy up here in Santa Clarita that create a great quality of life. So
absolutely.
I like geeking out on it because I'm in the real estate industry, and I know you enjoy that too, and hopefully you enjoyed it too. Maybe you can put some stuff in the comments to get everybody worked up.
Yes, and make sure you give it a thumbs up and a like for his legs. All right?
We need at least 3 subs from me wearing
Just
shorts
for the
today.
legs. Just for the legs.
Thanks, Chris.
No
Good to see
problem.
you. We'll see you next time when we talk industry or commercial lending.
Oh, man, it should
Either
be
one
fun.
of those sound fun. And thank you for joining us on This Week in Santa Clarita Real Estate.